It's being called the most expensive surrender in the history of the British Empire. A decision so baffling that it has sent shockwaves from the halls of Westminster to the inner sanctums of the Pentagon. Imagine owning a piece of land that is the literal cornerstone of global security, a territory that allows your military to project power across the Middle East, Africa, and Asia simultaneously. Now, imagine giving that land away to a nation that has never ruled it, and then, in a move that defies all logic, handing that nation a check for £30 billion just to take it off your hands. This isn't a hypothetical political thriller, this is the reality of the Chagos Islands deal. Today, we are uncovering the layers of a geopolitical scandal that involves secret legal networks, a direct plea to Donald Trump, and a £30 billion price tag that the British taxpayer is expected to swallow while their own domestic services crumble. Is this a moral victory for international law, or is it the ultimate strategic betrayal? To understand why this matters, we have to look at the map. In the middle of the Indian Ocean sits Diego Garcia. It's a tiny coral atoll, but in military terms, it is the most valuable real estate on Earth. It's often called the unsinkable aircraft carrier. For decades, it has been the launch pad for the B-2 bombers that flew missions into Afghanistan and Iraq. It houses massive underwater sensors for tracking submarines and high-tech intelligence hubs that monitor half the globe. It is the literal linchpin of the Indo-Pacific strategy. For the United States, Diego Garcia is irreplaceable. There is no Plan B, yet the UK government is preparing to hand sovereignty of the entire Chagos archipelago over to Mauritius. Critics are warning that this isn't just a change of flags, it's a change of destiny. Mauritius has deep, growing economic and diplomatic ties with China and Russia. By surrendering sovereignty, the UK is essentially introducing a third party into a high-stakes military relationship between London and Washington. Once Mauritius holds the keys, they hold the leverage over access, operations, and the long-term presence of the base itself. Now, let's talk about the number that is making everyone's head spin, £30 billion. That is the reported cost of this settlement. Let that sink in. At a time when the UK is grappling with a cost of living crisis, an overstretched NHS, and a crumbling housing market, the government has found £30 billion to pay another country to accept a gift of British territory. Why? The official line is that this is a legal settlement to resolve decades of disputes. But analysts are asking, since when does the loser of a territory pay the recipient? Usually, in international diplomacy, if you want land, you pay for it. Here, the UK is paying to lose. This financial burden has sparked outrage across the political spectrum. Many see it as a symbol of a government that is more interested in satisfying the demands of international bureaucracies than looking after its own citizens. It raises the question, who is this deal really for? Because it certainly isn't for the British taxpayer. So, how did we get here? To find the answer, you have to look past the politicians and into the elite legal networks of North London. Investigative reports have highlighted that Prime Minister Keir Starmer's inner circle is packed with human rights lawyers and international law advocates who have spent their careers arguing that Britain must adhere to the advisory opinions of the International Court of Justice, or the ICJ. In 2019, the ICJ issued an advisory opinion stating that the Chagos Islands were not legally incorporated into the UK. But here's the catch, that opinion was non-binding. It was a suggestion, not a law. However, critics argue that Starmer's government is treating it like a holy text. There are allegations that dinner table ideology is driving this, a desire to appear virtuous on the world stage at the expense of hard-nosed national security. These legal elites are accused of prioritizing abstract globalist principles over the concrete reality of maintaining a strategic edge in an increasingly dangerous world. As it stands, the UK is moving forward. But the backlash is growing. With the US military expressing deep concern and the Chagosian people pleading for a U-turn, this deal has become a flashpoint for the future of British sovereignty. Is this the end of Britain as a global power? Or is it a necessary step toward a more lawful international order? One thing is certain, the cost of this decision will be felt for generations, and not just in the bank accounts of the taxpayers. It will be felt in the shifting balance of power across the globe. What do you think? Is this the right move, or is Britain selling its security for a seat at the cool kids table of international law? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your take on the £30 billion surrender. If you found this deep dive helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more reports on the stories the mainstream media won't touch. I'm your name, and I'll see you in the next one.